What's up, y'all? I'm out here at my range again on another cold, soggy day, but that ain't enough to keep me from getting some jelly testing done. And as long as the sun stays behind the clouds, at least I won't have to fight with the glare while we check out a couple of 9mm rounds that are kind of the same, but also different. So as always, we got the jelly contraption out here ready for duty with the chrono and 2 freshly melted blocks of gel. No tests at all done in this one so far, so we'll get a really good picture of what happens here. Also, of course, I am using the heavy clothing barrier here with the layer of denim, layer of fleece, and 2 layers of a cotton t-shirt material. And as y'all can see, we're checking out a couple of different types of the solid fluted type 9mm rounds. Obviously, we got the Underwood Extreme Defender here. They're the 90 grain. It's the standard pressure ones. I'm sure most people are familiar with these Extreme Defenders by now. As you can see there, nice nickel plated case. It is a solid copper projectile, and you can see the fluting there. You can see the shape there on the tip. Now, if we get what the box is saying on these, we're gonna have 1,400 feet per second, which if we get that, it would give us 392 foot-pounds of energy on these Defenders. I doubt we're gonna see quite that, but it'll be interesting to see what we do get. And then we're gonna put those up against these Inceptor ARXs. These are also a really similar projectile design. There is a little bit of differences in them. These seem like a more slanted on the flutes there and not near as much surface area on the tip there, as you can see. Also, no nickel plating, and this actual projectile is not solid copper. It's a ground up copper and polymer blend there to make the projectile. Now, this one's also a good bit lighter because of that projectile composition. It's only a 65 grain. It's supposed to be moving at 1,650 feet per second. If it were to meet that, it would be 393 foot-pounds. So actually 1 foot-pound more than the Defender if they both meet the advertised velocities, which, like I said, I don't think either one of them is going to meet these numbers. And as for the tool we're using out here today, it's going to be my 3-inch barrel P365. But this should be pretty interesting to see how close the performance between these two are. I've tested these in the past, not together, I don't believe it was, and it's been quite a while, and I don't think it was through this 3-inch barrel, but I really don't remember. But either way, it should be pretty interesting to see what they do here. I don't think this cloth is going to have any kind of difference whatsoever, but let me get this stuff set up and let's check them out. All right, let's get some speeds on these things, y'all. I'm going to do a 5-round average on each one, starting with the Extreme Defenders first. If you remember, the box is saying 1,400 on these, so let's see how close we actually get to that. 1272, 1250, 1282, 1257, and 1281, so not real close. Let's go check the average. All right, so our 5-round average on those Extreme Defenders is 1,268 feet per second, so a far cry from the 1,400 on the box, but obviously they're testing those out of a much longer barrel. So let me get this reset and let's see what those ARX can do. All right, let's check out these ARXs. I'm gonna run 5 rounds of these also. One thing I can tell you, you can tell immediately, is the weight difference in these things. It's got my 365 real top heavy because there's no weight down here with those 5 rounds. But anyway, if you remember on the box, these were claiming 1,650, whereas the Extreme Defenders were 1,400. So we're looking for about a 250 feet per second spread. I definitely don't expect to see the 1,650 here, but that spread, it should be around 250. 1528, duplicate 1528, 1517, 1579, and 1,600. So I believe these were closer to the 1,650 than the Extreme Defenders were to the 1,400, but let's go check out that average. All right, so the 5-round average from those Inceptor ARX is 1,550 feet per second, so just 100 feet per second short of what that box was claiming. And if you remember on the Extreme Defenders, it was 1,268, so you're talking about what? 250 to 282 feet per second faster from these Inceptor ARX. So 282 feet, that's our 250 spread right there. So should be interesting to see what these do in the gel. I don't think really this velocity is going to matter as far as anything but the energy right here as far as the calculation. I believe they both going to do good in the gel and probably look very, very similar. But let me get this reset and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's the same but different jelly time. I'm gonna put one round of each down into the gel, starting with this Inceptor ARX first. Like I say, I expect good things from both of these. One thing I did want to mention is if y'all notice that extreme spread, especially on these Inceptors, it was around 80 something. One was 1600 and one was way on down like 15, 17. And the rest were pretty close to the 1500 and some. I did notice there was a bunch of unburnt powder down there on the table. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know what that means, you know, if that had anything to do with the spread or what. But anyway, let's put this Inceptor down there. Let's see what it looks like. All right, should have been a good hit right there. Let's go down there and check it out. All right, that's looking really good down there, y'all. Another thing I wanted to mention about these ARX, I don't know if I already did, but the recoil on those things is super, super light. So that's another thing to keep in mind, you know, if you're making a choice or whatever. But anyway, let's see how these Extreme Defenders do. I expect these are going to do just as good as that. So let's see what we get here, y'all. All right, I can't hardly see my interest down there, but I'm pretty sure it's good. Let's go down there and check out what we got. All right, let's check this out down here, y'all. Basically what I expected to see out of both of these rounds. Really nice performance out of both of them, as you can see. The first one down here on the bottom, that was the Inceptor ARX. Comes in here, very nice disruption, very nice wound channel. That disruption goes all the way through the track here and stops right here, probably at right about 15 inches. We'll measure here in a second though. Facing forward, so no kind of tumbling, it doesn't look like at all, but really nice wound action all the way through. And that's one big benefit of these fluted solid rounds that I've noticed. An expanding lead conventional type round is going to come in, and if it expands nicely, you get a lot of nice action here, but then it kind of fizzles out. Now obviously you're still making a hole in something, but it's just a big difference here because this hydraulic disruption from these fluted rounds carries it all the way through the track, whereas you just get like a little kind of a thinner action after you get that first big burst of energy from a conventional round. And then on the top, of course, is our Extreme Defender. Pretty much the same kind of story here. It comes in immediately, nice wound channel, very nice disruption. It does get a lot more disruption here for whatever reason. Carries that disruption all the way through the track, just like you saw in the ARX. And now this projectile is also facing forward, but it's about an inch further, I would say, than that ARX. So let's see exactly what we do have as far as penetration here. This Inceptor ARX is actually at 15 1/4 and then rebounded just a little bit backwards. So 15 1/4 on that one. And then your Extreme Defender here is exactly 16 inches. It basically touched the end of that first block and then bounced back just a little bit. So really similar performance as far as penetration on those, just within what, 3/4 of an inch of each other. And then here's a little bit of an overhead look. Here's the Extreme Defender here. Now you can't see that real big disruption action, so that's why I give y'all different angles. It can be a little bit misleading because as you can see, that Inceptor on the top also has some really big nice areas of wound action. So they're pretty much exactly the same as far as how much disruption. It just depends on what angle you're looking at them from. And then again, here's your projectiles. There's your Extreme Defender. As you can see the little bubbles where it went a little further. And then there's your ARX, both of them facing forward. All right, y'all, let's check out our projectiles here. Really not a whole lot to see here because, you know, no deformation, no expansion or nothing out of these. They look basically just like they did inside the case. A lot of times you can notice, though, on these Underwood rounds, you can see the corners, the little point sharp edges have kind of rounded over there on the copper. This one here looks absolutely the same, no difference at all. But you can see the little bit of difference in design there. You see how those Underwood flutes are kind of just straight down the sides, whereas these ARX ones, they actually kind of spiral along around with it. So pretty interesting differences in design there. You can see the bottom, this one's hollow, that one's flat, but also even though this ARX is lighter, it's longer. You can see there, we'll measure it here, but you got a longer projectile because it's a lighter material. But anyway, let's get some measurements on them and see what we're looking at. Shouldn't be any kind of material loss. So the ARX was 65 and it's 64.9. So 64.9 there. there. The Extreme Defender was 90.1. So yeah, no loss obviously there on neither one of those. Now, as far as the size, of course, we didn't get any expansion, but I'm just curious. I want to see what the sizes are of them. So on the Defender, we got 355 and another 355, so exactly right on the Defender. As far as the length on this Defender, we got 574 for the length. And in the ARX here, you got 354 and 354 again, so very consistent, both of them. The length on the ARX here is 598, so like I said, it's a longer projectile because it's a lighter material. But there you have it, y'all, the Underwood Extreme Defender and the Inceptor ARX. Very, very comparable rounds. Now, as far as if you ask the question, are they the same thing? Literally, obviously, they're not the same thing. They've got a different material composition, loaded by different places. But as far as practical purposes, these are pretty much the same thing. I mean, they act the same in the gel. You got very, very similar energy output from them. So, like I said, in my opinion, these are basically the same thing. Whichever one you can get a hold of for a better deal is the one I would personally go with. All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it right there for another interesting 9mm test. These things did pretty much exactly what I figured they would do out here today. Both of them did excellent in this gel, excellent penetration on them, really, really nice disruption. You know, I personally am a big fan of conventional expanding lead type of rounds, but it's hard to deny what you see with these solid fluted rounds. These things, you never have to worry about the cloth. The cloth is not even a factor when you're testing these rounds, so that's huge right there, because as we've seen lately, a lot of rounds that look phenomenal in the bare gel just absolutely fall flat on their face when you put this cloth in front of them. The more I see from these solid fluted type rounds like this, the more I start to think maybe they are the way as far as self-defense in every caliber out there. But I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all's thoughts are. If you did enjoy the video, take a second and hit that thumbs up button down there, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything good when I do upload it. Take a second if you would and check out those affiliate links in the video description. Y'all know the deal with that Amazon. If you shop through Amazon, hit up that storefront link down there first. You'll go straight through Amazon like normal from there, and anything you buy after that, I get a kickback from them towards the channel. Same deal with the Axle links. If you're in the market for some fantastic ear pro, hit those links up down there and you can save a pile of money instead of going straight to their site. As always, I appreciate all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all out there for supporting the channel. I've got tons of good stuff coming y'all's way as always, so be on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.